there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Bloomington, Illinois at the Central Illinois Regional Airport, or BMI if you're going to be flying around and using the codes. And today what I want to talk about is just a review of the Central Illinois Regional Airport, because I think that's one thing a lot of people kind of miss out on, is how their regional airports can really help them explore the world without having to go to a big hub at first, okay? So whenever you're going to fly anywhere, whenever you're trying to decide which airport you should use, it's always a good idea to know what airlines are flying out of there and what destinations you can go to, because that might dictate if you're going to come here to Bloomington or you're going to go to Peoria, or you do the drive up to Chicago or the bigger cities, like Indiana and Indianapolis as well. And so from here you have Delta Airlines, which goes to Atlanta at least twice a day, and occasionally have flights to Detroit as well. You have American Airlines that go to Chicago a couple times a day, and they also have flights to Dallas, Fort Worth. Then once a week or twice a week you have Allegiant Airlines, which flies from here down to Florida, and then you have Frontier Airlines that flies out to Colorado. So you have a few options when you are here, and that's what's cool about regional airports, is they'll have their standbys like the Uniteds and the Americans and the Deltas, but then they'll have some of the cheaper airlines like a Spirit or Allegiant that has a maybe a seasonal flight or a once a week flight, so you can go visit grandma down in Florida, okay? Now, one of the things that makes regional airlines very helpful and very economical in some aspects is the free parking or reduced cost parking. So here in Bloomington, it's actually free parking, so you don't have to pay, which is nice. And what's cool is if you have that 6 a.m. early flight, or you get in late and they drop you off at like 11 o'clock at night flight, yeah, there's a shuttle that will take you out to your well-lit parking lot to get to your car, which is really cool, okay? So you have that. And that's one thing, if you're looking at regional airports, see if they do have free parking or if it's a little bit cheaper, because if I'm going to go to Chicago for 2 weeks, I might be spending $40 a day in parking, and all of a sudden that price difference might not be so different flying from a regional airport versus flying from a major city. So something to think about. Now, if you're going to be coming here, when you're doing your check-in, what's great about the small airports is, look, there's small planes that come in here that fly in and out, so the lines are small as well. So quick check-in times. So the dads that like to get there 3 hours early, you don't have to do that when you're here. I get here about an hour early just to drop off my bag so I can put it in, and then I come and wander for a little bit, okay? So check-in is super simple, and what's nice, the regional airports here in Bloomington, you have friendly staff. If you fly a lot, you start to get to know them. Like Tony's been one of my buddies for years here flying with Delta, so today's not one of his days. He's working, so I was a little sad I won't see him, but I'll see him when I fly back on Saturday, so that's a kind of a nice thing. But you have that, so check-in's really quick. What's even better when you're doing regional airports and here in Bloomington is the security check. The TSA security check, it's quick, it's fast. Even if there's a long line, it's got like 15 people in it, okay? Most of the times I walk right up. If you got TSA pre-check, they have that, so you get your little card and go through. You go through very quickly. They're very professional, very kind. They're not like overrun. That's when you go into bigger airports within a rush. These ones, very nice and friendly, get you through, which is really nice. Now, if you're wondering, okay, Mark, we're in the airport, what do we do when we're here? I'm not gonna lie to you, there's not a lot of things to do inside this airport. However, it is a nice airport. There are lots of seatings down here, but also upstairs, there's plenty of seating for you. If you have devices though, I will tell you, there's not a ton of plugs. They do have some charging stations you can go to, but it's not like every seat has a plug to charge your device, so have a heads up on that one. But if you're looking to get a drink or something to eat, there's actually a bar before you go through security, and there's a bar, more importantly, after you go to security. Right up there, they have a bar that's up there that has a limited menu, like burgers, sandwiches, muffins and bagels in the morning, things like that. And of course, full bar, which is always important when you're gonna fly. Also, they have a shop upstairs, which is actually a nice size shop. It's got the electronics you might wanna get if you don't have headphones, right? Or if you forgot your toiletries, they have that. They have all the magazines, books, they got toys for kids if you need to grab something. But what's cool is they actually have a lot of beer nuts. But you may think, what's beer nuts? Well, actually, Bloomington is home to beer nuts, and actually, so they have beer nut t-shirts, beer nut nuts. I think I actually have a bag of them here. I even picked some up to give my friend when I get there, saying, hey, I got something from Bloomington for you. Boom, there you go. So that's nice. In terms of the restrooms, you have restrooms on both sides, obviously. I will say they're usually clean when I get them, morning, noon, or night when I've flown out of here. When you're leaving though, or coming back, I do kind of recommend using the ones that are outside security before you come in, because most people are hurrying up to get in through the airport, and so they don't use that one. So that one's usually a little bit cleaner, but they're both clean, but it's fine. I just want to give you a heads up for that. Now, if you are going to be flying one of those early morning flights, like there's a flight to Atlanta like 6 in the morning and one to Chicago like 6:30 in the morning, okay? The restaurants and stuff aren't open until about the time the thing's open, so you're probably going to get some food at the shop. If you get in late at night, if you're in one of those flights that gets in at 10:30 or 11, the shop won't be open, the restaurant over there won't be open, the bar, those things, they won't be open, so you do have to, you know, kind of plan for that. Also bonus, if you get in on the last flight of the night or one of the last ones, the exit isn't open, so you have to wait for somebody to come and unlock the door for you to get out going that way. So just be aware of that. It takes like 30 seconds for the person to catch up for you, but they had to get over the plane door and then come down here for that. Now, if you do check your bags, one thing I will say is some of the airlines, the planes that come here aren't big enough for normal size carry-ons in certain parts of the airplane. So you might actually have to gate check when you're flying into here. But the thing is, if you gate check, you'll actually get it at the gate. Like they'll pull up the thing at the gate and you get it there. If you checked your normal bags, like you check your bags, that's obviously outside. They have 2 belts. It's not hard to figure out which one's yours. It's the American or the Delta one. It takes like 10 minutes from when you land to when the baggage comes out. The longest you'll probably wait is an extra 10 minutes to get all of your bags. So that's pretty quick out there. There is transportations here. You can get Ubers from here. You can have taxis hired. Also, they do have 4 or 5 different car rental agencies that are right there, all the big ones, so you can rent cars anytime you want. So they have that available for you. If your car rental agency does not have a person there at the time when you're there, just ask one of the other ones. They all kind of help each other out, so that can be helpful. But you know, overall, if I look at the pros of Bloomington, you know, Central Illinois Regional Airport, BMI, you got connections to major hubs with Dallas, Chicago, and Atlanta. You can get anywhere in the world from here. It's just one stop, okay? You get through security without a crazy line and without all the headaches. That's probably the best thing about it. And honestly, the free parking goes a long way, especially if you got a longer trip when you're going to go someplace, so you're not spending 25, 30 bucks a day on parking. It's for free. Now, in terms of the cons, I would say is yes, you do have to get a connection to go anywhere. Like, don't get me wrong, flying to Chicago is cool and going to Atlanta is cool and Denver is cool, but most of the time you got to connect to someplace else. So that is one thing. So you have to weigh that when you're debating if you're going to fly from here. Another thing is if you miss your flight coming into here, it might not be there's another flight till the next day. So make sure you can get to your connection so you can fly back home if you're flying through here, okay? I will say if you do check in too early, like well, I'm going to be there 2.5 hours early, it'll get a little dull here, sitting around here, and then you might end up making a YouTube video about reviewing the airline or the airport. So just have a heads up for that. And the only other thing is, you know, the plugs, just not a ton of plugs, but honestly, I use this airport all the time because I love coming here because the people are super nice. I don't have very long lines and I get to go to major hubs. So I hope this helps you know a little bit about the Bloomington, Illinois, BMI, Central Illinois Regional Airport. So if you're living in Central Illinois, this can be an airport that can help you. Or if you're in the southern suburbs of Chicago, this could be another option for you versus fighting the traffic, getting to O'Hare or Midway. So just something to think about. Bye from here in Bloomington.